What's going on, YouTubes? Welcome back to the channel. Memorial Day weekend, still a long weekend for most people here in the United States. Starting the week off with another small off junior. Today was the 6x6 back squat. Plug the numbers into the small off calculator, and my weights for today was 230 pounds, a 6x6. So we get to that eventually here, but just starting with some cable pull downs. Get the thoracic extensors, get the back activated, get ready for those squats. Hope everybody had a nice weekend. I myself ate too much cookout food. Came in today about 9 pounds heavier than on Friday. So bunch of water weight, bunch of water retention going on. Feel good though. I guess I've never really gone over my stats. I am 5'11", but my license says 6 feet, of course. So we'll go 6 feet tall, and I am down to 188 pounds, which is pretty standard for me. I've been sitting at like 186, 185, and pretty much looking exactly like I look right now for about 10 years. Maybe, I don't know, maybe longer. Recently, last year, I trained for a half marathon, and I struggled really hard with the training. And in order to do, I was still doing CrossFit 4 or 5 days a week. So in order to do both CrossFit and the marathon, half marathon training, I upped my calories way up to like 3,400 calories a day, which gave me enough fuel to train for the half marathon, but also put me up at 200 pounds, which is great for strength and for being powerful, but terrible on my joints and terrible for running a half marathon and terrible for any type of cardiovascular endurance for CrossFit. So when was that? That was November, and I am slowly dieting back down to a baseline here. My day-to-day calories are, especially since I've quit CrossFit, my day-to-day calories are only 2,200, which is low, but I don't really do much. This is pretty much all I do. My job is sitting in a car, so I don't burn any calories there. So 2,200 calories a day, and I aim for about 225, 230 grams of protein a day. Carbs and fats kind of just fall where they do, but it's the calories and the protein that, I mean, unless you're training for like a bodybuilding competition or something like that, your main goal should be tracking your pro and your total calories. That's just my opinion. I mean, it's the easiest, the simplest, and I think you get the most bang for your buck without freaking out over every gram of carbohydrate, every gram of fat. So, anyway, we'll go with 6 feet tall, 188 pounds as of last Thursday, but 197 as of this morning. 2,200 calories a day, 225, 230 grams of protein a day. And that's where I'm at. I've been at that for 3 months now, the 2,200 calorie. So yeah, it's. I mean, I don't know if most people are like this, but my body retains water really, really easily and gets rid of it really easily. So my weight can fluctuate dramatically based on diet, fluid intake, all that stuff. I'll tell you what. One thing that this Smolov Jr. is pointing out to me is just how weak my hip flexors are. My left hip flexor is sore, and it's been that way pretty much since I've started. I think it's just weak, and the heavy repetitive squats are getting to it. But when I stop this Smolov Junior split, I am going to get into, I don't know, I guess I'm thinking about getting some of those monkey feet attachments I don't know if you guys have followed the knees over toes guy. He's like the hot thing on the YouTubes right now, and a lot of his stuff is really really good, and it opens up a lot of I don't know. I guess it opens up a lot of ways of thinking that people haven't really been doing in a while. So he really focuses on reversing movements. So a standing hip flexion exercise is an open chain version of the squat. Essentially, is kind of his thought process. And by strengthening the hip flexors, whether in standing on one leg or laying on your back, using a foot attachment and bringing your knees up to your chest, or hanging from the bar and bringing your knees up, you're strengthening those hip flexors in a different, kind of a different way. And the monkey foot attachment is just something that holds a dumbbell on your foot and allows you to then do a weighted knee raise, essentially. So I am thinking about getting something like that and really, really working on the hip flexors. Like I said, I spend a lot of time sitting in the car. My job involves me driving for 6-7 hours a day, roughly, sometimes less. But I've been doing that job for like 8 years now. So posture, those types of things, it's accumulated over a long period of time. It's not you go spend a weekend in the car. It's not going to ruin your posture. But year after year for a long period of time in the car, not taking time to then reverse those postures, and certain muscles get weak, certain muscles get tight, and I think that something's going on. My left hip flexor is definitely taking a beating with all this. And I said it in the last video too, my left leg didn't feel like it was rotating as well. It felt like my hip was pinching a little bit. But it loosened up towards the end of this 6x6. Again, today's weight was 230 pounds. Felt easy. It should feel easy. It's the lightest day of the week. The reps didn't feel too crazy today, which was good. I think after Friday's 10 sets of 3, this kind of flew by, so that was nice. Working on a little bit wider of a stance, allowing the toes to point out a little bit more than I was last week. Trying to find a comfortable depth, a comfortable end range. It is getting better. It's feeling better. Still noticing myself torquing my head up like that. It's something that I thought I was focusing on throughout today's workout, but apparently I need to pay a little more attention. This is one of my favorite warm-ups prior to any type of shoulder work. Just TheraBand pass-throughs. You can also do it with a stick or like a PVC pipe or whatever. The stick or the PVC is a little bit tougher on the wrists. And then just some pull-aparts. Get the rhomboids awake and active. Rear delts, the traps. And then finally got into some more military press. I'm going to, some strict presses. I'm going to be strict pressing, I think 3 days a week now I've programmed. Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. So hopefully we see some shoulder growth. These actually felt good. I stayed really light. I only did 75 pounds. My recent 1 rep max strict press was 195, I think I did about a month ago or so. It's a strong movement for me. I really like it. It's always come natural. So that's why, what started my whole hiatus from CrossFit was, this movement is it's something that I've always been good at. I've always been stable at. And when I started to feel that pain and the clicking during CrossFit, I just knew something wasn't right. I wasn't doing myself any favors. So I think taking a break was the right idea. So now I'm just looking to get back in and rebuild that strength, rebuild that shoulder mobility and stability, as well as that scapular rhythm. Because I think that's kind of, if you watch those TheraBand pass-throughs, you can see my right scapula is hiking. It's just not behaving the same as the left. I don't necessarily think you can see that so much here. It's a little out of sync from the left, I guess, as I'm watching. But yeah, I'm just hoping that over time, not doing anything strange or weird or too challenging with it, hopefully things will just kind of fall back into a better pattern. So that's kind of the game plan going forward. But yeah, I only worked up to 75 pounds on those, right? Yeah, 75 pounds. And then I did some bent over rows, just using the plate here. Not the best range of motion. I can't get as far to the ground as I'd like to, but these felt good. Getting the lats. The strict sets of 10, 12, my body is just ready for the pump, looking for it, loving it. It feels really good. Kind of the feeling you get from bodybuilding that you don't necessarily usually get during a CrossFit workout, where the blood's being pushed and rushed to all sides of the body at different times. You're doing front squats for 20, then you're right into pull-ups. The blood's going from the legs to the lats to the arms. Obviously, with the bodybuilding style, strict pressing, strict movements, the blood's just being forced into the muscle that you're using at the time. So back on the GHD today, almost tore my hamstring, which I guess that means I'm pushing my limits here. My range of motion is so small, but that's my eccentric and my concentric, and that's where we're at right now. What is that? Maybe 15 degrees? I look like 10, if 10. I think 15 was too generous. I think we're working with 10 degrees here. I don't know. But oh my God, if you haven't tried these, there's 1,000 ways you don't need this machine necessarily. There's 1,000 ways on YouTube to duplicate this movement. It's brutal. It's very, very difficult. So check that out. I think I need to work on the placement of my foot pads there. I don't know. Again, I like this GHD, but I'm not. That was me almost tearing my hamstring. So I felt the hamstring pull at the last second, but it's fine. I didn't injure myself. And then I just finished with some glute extensions here, trying to wake up those glutes and hamstrings, trying to make them a more active and productive muscle group, I guess, in my lifts and my movements. They're typically pretty dormant. Again, probably has something to do with my the sports I played growing up, and then also the amount of time I spent sitting in the car. But that's it for today. I did a bunch of sets of both of those. I'll be back later this week. Just keep lifting, people.